last thing I want is a parking lot or.
7.
Sure.
So far. 7 o'clock tonight. New York Mets tonight.
I'll make this.
It is. There you go. Well, at this point, I'll call this meeting to order. If everyone please rise, face the flag. Have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. One of our better traditions. Okay. Everyone should have received the minutes of the meeting, of the last meeting, I should say. And it's in your board pack. Just ask you if there's any additions, corrections, deletions. I found one in the MOU with RAM Development. It's not Alan Tito. Although I'm going to harass him about that moving forward. So if you'd make that correction, please. Any other corrections? More significant than that?
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented with that correction on the spelling of Alan's last name.
George makes a motion to accept as presented with the one correction. Do I hear a second?
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Gross seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, moving right along. New business. Public hearing on resolution 2023-0801, confirming declaratory resolution of the GAT allocation area.
Want to do the claims?
Oh,
Yes,
I'm
one-
sorry, I skipped over the
I mean,
claims.
we can
I'm
do that,
sorry.
but-
We'll go to claims first, because there's a few things, few dollars
We
in
talked about
that one.
moving those to the end, we never have yet. So we do have a few claims. $825 for Westler for ongoing engineering for the airport lift station. $1,000 Huntington National Bank, that is administration fees for the marketplace bond. $1 million for the Lake City Bank investment. That
just
is,
a transfer.
yeah, so that's our revolving, or kind of $1 million goes into the investment from the Northern TIF, and then as it matures, it rolls out, and then we roll it back in, unless we choose not to. Given where we're at right now, I'm recommending we continue to roll that $1 million in that investment, but at any time that we need to, we can withdraw that from that investment.
What are we drawing on that right now? No?
It changes. I don't know what this one, but it's a lot better than what it was a year ago. I know that the interest that we're collecting on that is a lot greater now than what it was a year ago. It's gone up quite a bit, actually. So I think it's like,
Bonds, yeah.
I want to say we're making, I don't know, 25, 30,000 off of it.
Might even be more than that.
It might be more than that.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
It's been a minute since I looked at it. I can find that out for you, though.
Yeah, for your convenience, I was just curious.
What is that, just a CD?
Yeah, it can't be. There's certain things you can invest in as a municipality, but they're all like preset. You can't like go out and put it on the next Cubs game or anything like that.
Right.
What?
So yeah, it's a type of CD. It's all done through Baker Tilly. Baker Tilly has, I don't know, millions that they're investing for the city on a revolving basis. All of our some of our older bonds had set amounts we have to carry for the 20 years. So there's a couple of bonds that have like 250,000 that are sitting in there as you're as your backup. So those are invested over that time period. There's other, I think wastewater has a portion invested. So it's just, Baker Tilly manages those investments for the city. This is just one of those investments.
And that's redevelopment money?
Northern TIF specifically, yeah.
And it's liquid, we have access to any or all of it at any time?
Yeah, based on the way, I wouldn't say it's immediate, but based on the way the city has investments staggered, that if I needed to draw that money out, I could go to Lynn and say, hey, we need that money. It may come from somebody else's and they would swap, you know what I mean? But in essence, yes, it can be withdrawn.
And that's not earmarked for the Marsh project, is it?
It is not, no.
Okay, because the Marsh is not northern,
Nope.
northern TIF.
No, so we have about 6 million in cash. Last time I looked in the Northern TIF, say roughly 6 million. Our budget for this year is two something. Our budget for next year is 3. So when I decide to put this before you, it's because I'm saying we're not going to need that million in the next 12 months. If I thought we needed it, we wouldn't reinvest it.
Okay. Thank you.
Auditor and recording fees for the Matthews deed work for the townhomes, $10 and $25, and then Barnes and Thornburg legal services, $10,750 is for Gackey, Marsh, Owens. So it's kind of a combination of projects we're working on. Times Union advertisements for the additional appropriation we're doing for the tech park that goes before the council tonight. And then Baker Tilly, municipal fees of $4,297.50. Once again, that's just for our ongoing projects that we're working on for their financial work on the 2 districts that we're finishing up today.
It's odd to me that it says it's for a continuing disclosure of reporting period December 31st, 2022, and we're just now getting that. Is that the correct date in there?
I will look, but I'm assuming, yeah, because I think they're
Takes them 6 months.
yeah. Yep. And it's just part of our requirements for bond issues. We did add one. I hope if it didn't show up, I'll go over it real quick, but it's a Graycraft sign. This was PO'd last year when we signed a contract to redo the wayfinding signs, and this one is $13,888.35, and that's just to refresh all those wayfinding signs that are throughout the city.
Oh, okay. $13,880.
That was money PO'd from last year's budget. We paid half of it last year. And then, probably I say paid half of it in February, whatever, January, December. And then this is the remaining portion for the completed work.
Signs look nice.
Yes, they do. I did notice the one on Center Street when I was driving. I was like, oh, because the old ones were starting to crack pretty bad and were looking kind of shoddy. So yes, it looks very nice.
They needed some refurbishing.
They needed some refurbishing. They'd been up for, gosh, I don't know, what, 10 years maybe?
At least.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's all the claims I got.
Okay, do we have any questions regarding these claims? And the addition of the Graycraft sign refurbishing?
Hearing none, I'd make a motion to approve claims.
Mike
Both
makes
of
a
them,
motion to-
including the Graycraft.
Including the additional one. Mr. Gross, did you have a question?
So I'll second that.
Second, Mike, Mr. Gross seconds that motion with the inclusion of the additional.
Yes.
Thank you. Any further questions, discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Moving right on. Okay, now we go to new business. And This is on the public hearing on Resolution 2023-0801, confirming declaratory resolution for the GATKey allocation area. Would you like to explain that?
Yeah, so we started this a month ago, and it's made its way through the various boards. So you approved the initial declaratory resolution. This would be the confirming resolution, confirming that declaration. So your declaratory resolution at your previous meeting you approved. It went to the Plan Commission for its approval, then to the City Council for approving the order of the Plan Commission, and then back to you for final approval. Once you were to give this approval, that will basically reconstitute the GATKey property, which will restart its clock on the 25-year lifespan for that property, not the Winona Interurban. That will stay the same. And then we'll get that recorded and it'll become official. So it's
So
just
the clock
resetting
will
that
begin
clock.
on that,
Yeah.
on the 25-year
Yes. This was
expiration dates.
Yeah, so the GATKey TIF was originally created, or the GATKey property was included in the Winona Interurban TIF back in, what had been,
Lot 9 or something.
2000. Yeah, I think it was 1999 or 2000, right around that same time frame, 2001, when we took over the GATKey property and did the environmental cleanup. For some of you who've been on the board long enough, you'll know that we had a bunch of grants that we had to pay back through to IDEM that were paid off a few years back now. So all that started around 1999 through 2001. Obviously, since that time, we've been trying to redevelop that property. And now that we have a developer on board, we'll reset that clock to the 25 years and then go from there.
Jeremy, did that trigger our being able to reset the clock, finding a developer?
Yes, I mean, technically, we can do it anytime, right? You just basically, I mean, in this case, it's a little bit different than most cases in that we've owned the property since, like I said, 1999, I think is when they originally acquired that property. So once it was brought in, it hasn't been on the tax roll since 1999. So us moving the date on it doesn't do anything because it's never been paying taxes. The only thing it does is allow us now to go forward with this project and issue a bond that will cover that 25 years.
Extends it out a
Yeah.
little longer.
Yeah.
The original resolution is attached to this one. And it was just recently approved by us.
Yes.
2023-07-01, so it's in July. We did the original. So it hasn't been long at all.
No, not for redoing this. So the original Winona Interurban TIF was done, like I said, in 2000, I believe. Now, there's been so many changes to the rules. Some of our TIF districts had 30-year lifespans. Some of them had 25 years. Some of them had 20 years. Some of them lifespans were set when you first issued a bond issue. So one of the things we went back and looked at was we might not have had to do anything because if we never issued a bond, then its lifespan wouldn't start until we issued a bond. Unfortunately, when Randy looked at it, they just said this was the best way is just to reconstitute this as an allocation area and restart that clock. So that's what we're doing. If you remember correctly, Eastern TIF was one of those that its lifespan started when we did the sewer bond. Because prior to that, Eastern TIF district, we'd never issued a bond, so it kind of hung out there and hung out there and hung out there until we issued that bond. Once we issued that bond, then that started the clock on its lifespan.
So we need to have a public hearing open for this.
Yes, so this is a public hearing, so you got to open it up to the public.
I'll open it up right now, and can we keep it open for the second one too as well?
I just
Just
open it, close it,
open and
vote
close.
on it, and then we'll do the
Okay.
next one.
We can do that either way. So, Is there any comment from the community in this public hearing on this particular gap key property? Hearing none, we'll close the public meeting on this, and we'll open it for motions.
Any questions on the resolution? I'll make a motion, we accept the resolution 2023-08-01 as presented.
Thank you. George makes a motion to approve as presented. 2023-08-01. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Mike makes a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Approval of resolution 2023-08-01 as presented. Now open the public hearing for the next resolution, 2023-08-02, resolution of the Warsaw Central Development Area.
Yeah, so this same process, a little different in that these are both areas that were not in the district and are being placed in the central, Warsaw Central Development Area. This started might have started a few months ago because we missed a planning commission date, so I think it was in June when you first approved the resolution.
Yeah.
And then it went to the plan commission for its approval, to the council to affirm the commissions, and then back to you for the final public hearing. Unlike the GACI, which was already in and we're reconstituting, we're actually adding both the Owens property and the Marsh property and some surrounding adjacent properties into this central redevelopment district for the first time. So they're basically expanding, adding these two properties into that district. Obvious reason we're working on the Owens development, which will allow us to incentivize that development through a TIF bond. And then obviously for the Marsh property, we are acquiring the Marsh property in hopes of redeveloping that. So that gives us the ultimate flexibility to try to redevelop that property as well.
Oh, that one goes back to 1990.
Yes. This is the oldest district. Was originally, did not have a time frame set on it, but that changed back in 2015, I think, when the state ended those legacy TIFs. So this was original part of the legacy TIF that ended when we did the Buffalo Street bond.
We originally looked at it on June 5th this year
Yes.
and approved. Okay,
I move to approve resolution 2023-08-02.
Do a public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
since we have the meeting open, is there any comments from the public? Hearing none, we'll close the public meeting and
Make that motion again to approve the resolution
as presented.
as presented.
Very good. Mr. Gross makes a motion to approve as presented. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second? Okay. Any further discussion?
Jeremy, moving forward, sometimes it might be nice to have a map on these things so we can get a visual. There's no map here. It'd be nice just to see.
Yeah, I'll try
It's
to.
not necessary, but when you're
No, I
reading all
get it.
these,
I do have them, but
section.
they didn't get attached to
Okay.
that, but yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, there's actually an attachment to that email I can show you.
Okay.
That has
Yeah, I
that
thought-
information on it.
Yeah, I thought I included, because they were both surveys, they're surveys that we had done, so it should have been one big map. And it was kind of goofy because it had a couple of insets, but maybe it didn't come through
Not
here.
Did you get a new survey? Because the memo said it was a 2014 survey or 18.
The GACI one was. But the Owens Marsh one should have been a new survey.
Said in here that the last survey was 2018.
No. I'm, not talking about the Marsh property.
Oh, okay.
But the legal descriptions that are in here are from a survey I can send out so you can
Oh.
see what,
Okay.
yeah. No, there wouldn't be any reason for us to do a new survey, pay for a new survey on the Marsh. When we do a project, we can do that at that time, if need be.
The building did not move.
And it did not, well.
Any other further questions? Okay, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries for the approval of Resolution 2023-0802. Yeah, we'll move down now to the next resolution, disposal of Ocean Street property for Owens redevelopment project.
So this is the final step. We did the public advertisements. No one bid on it. So in essence, we are authorizing the commission to have the authority to dispose of this property to the Millworks Residential Development Project. And that will occur as we put the project together. So this in itself doesn't necessarily dispose of the property, but it gives us the ability to dispose of it when that project comes to fruition. So that a month from now, or 2 months from now, 3 months, however long it takes us to put all the pieces together, we'll have this process done and can dispose of that Washington Street property to the Millworks Development, which is the Owens site.
Was that the bike shop?
Yep, that was the old bike shop, yep.
Thought so.
With a grand total of $1.
What's the deal?
Okay, any questions regarding this? I guess I'll entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion to accept Resolution 2023-0803 to dispose of the property.
Okay. Mike makes a motion to approve 2023-0803.
I'll second that.
And George seconds that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The motion is approved for 2023-0803. Thank you. And next is the agreement with Baker Tilly on the Owens and Marsh expansions, the central TIF.
So yes, moving forward, as we put projects together, this is just an engagement agreement with them. It's based on hourly rates, so it's not a set contract to do that financial work. So as we put together the bond for the Owens property and/or any work that may be done for the Marsh property, this is just an engagement letter to use their services based on the hourly rates that are attached.
Now, do we need to do a separate approval on each one of these?
No, I think he sent this one out because it's specific to the central TIF expansion.
Okay.
So we're engaging them to help us work through in case we need to get a bond for any of these properties.
Well, we know we're gonna do one for the Owens.
Right. we know
Right,
that.
so, yes, in essence, we're just saying, yeah, we're using them as our financial consultants for this work.
Should we
that'll
need-
be done, yeah.
okay.
And they'll have all kinds of work that needs to be done through the bond issue.
Okay.
Okay. Any further questions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'd make a motion to approve the engagement letter with Baker Tilly.
Second.
Mr. Gross makes seconds that?
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion on those? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. approval and disposal of the Washington Street property for Owens redevelopment project. Oh, for the, I'm sorry, for the agreement with the Baker Tilly, for the Owens and Marsh expansions in the central district. Thank you. And, agreement with the, for the Gatke property.
Yeah, I think I had her label that wrong. So this is actually the agreement for their debt issuance, arbitrage, and continuing disclosure. And this is just part of our reporting requirements for our bond issues that we are required to submit.
The title is correct on the document itself.
Yes. So once again, they do that financial consulting work for us to keep us legal with our debt issuance.
Very important.
It's very important because we do have a few bonds
You do.
and we continue to issue bonds.
And we continue to pay them.
Yep.
Pay them off. Good. Okay, any questions regarding that?
Now, I'll make a motion to approve the agreement with Baker Tilly.
George makes a motion to approve the municipal advisory services debt issue, arbitrage, and continuing disclosure agreement as presented. Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Mr. Gross makes a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries for the approval of the municipal advisory services debt issuance, arbitrage, and continuing disclosure agreement. Okay. Other business?
Retail Strategies is coming in on Wednesday this week. They'll be touring the city, looking at all of our commercial spots and locations to develop. And then we are also meeting with them, and they'll go through the Marsh building that we signed a contract for them to develop over the next 12 months. So that's on the agenda for this week.
Can we have them do that first? The Marsh building?
Yeah, we're meeting
Skip.
them at
At
the
the
site,
Marsh.
at
Okay.
the site, and
At
then
1 o'clock.
the rest of the day, they'll be touring the city and looking at all of our commercial real estate and getting a good lay of the land. And I'm assuming, once they've done that, they'll start to put forward some of the documents, the marketing documents that they kind of showed us what they've done in the past. So hopefully we'll be seeing some of those soon.
Jeremy, I take it that since you announced this at a public meeting to this board, that all members of this board would be welcome to come down there to take that tour with them and ask them any
Yeah,
questions?
certainly, if any of you want to walk through the building, it'll be 1 o'clock. I'll be there with them,
1 o'clock Wednesday.
1 o'clock Wednesday.
I haven't been in there for years.
I'm gonna be there.
Anything else? Anything you want to-
Still
Any
keep-
updates on
keep-
anything?
Keep working, moving forward on the Owens and Gatke project. Yeah, outside of that, we're just
Okay. Do you,
trying to keep the balls rolling
do you
forward.
foresee us having another meeting in 2 weeks?
I don't think so. I don't think, I think we'll still be sticking on the
George
regular.
is pretty busy, so he'd
He
kinda like
needs
to know
ahead of time.
ahead of time.
Got schedule is
Isn't that
next.
right? Am I wrong?
You're correct. You're on it, yeah.
The meeting did run quite a bit more efficiently last month.
It did. I didn't want to say.
Well, the instructions were gone, so.
No, I think right now we're pretty good, so we'll probably stick to our once-a-month meeting, but if anything comes up, we have those extra days we can fill in.
Okay, I'll keep it penciled in.
Mr. Mayor, did you have anything to address with? Very good. We've gotten through a lot of good projects and we're making progress.
You know, I would venture to say that these 5 things that we passed this evening are all really, really important. And thanks for your hard work, both you and Whitney. I know you guys put a lot of time in on this, and it doesn't go unappreciated.
Appreciate it.
Isn't that right, George?
I'll second that.
Okay.
Very good. Well, anything else come before the group? Any questions while we're here? Okay, very good. Well, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Gross, motions to adjourn.
Second.
George, seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
Thanks for.
Appreciate it very much.
Thanks.
So if I could write this before the 6 o'clock meeting.
Hey.
Yeah, get it on.